Hello, my name is Nana and welcome to this Plan With Me video where I will be setting up my bullet journal for April. April is my birthday month, so I really wanted to choose a theme that was something personal to me or that has a lot of personal meaning to me. And I really love cats and especially black cats, so that's why I decided to do a black cat theme. I used to have a black cat named Ozzy, but unfortunately he had to be put down a couple of years ago, and I really want to get a cat again someday. But for now, I'll just settle for this cat theme in my bullet journal. Right now, as you can see, I have drawn 5 different cats in different shapes and sizes, and I'm using their tails to shape the letters to spell April for my title page. I actually got this idea from this picture that I saw on Pinterest. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the original artist because it sent me to, when I clicked on it, it sent me to a website in a language I don't understand. So if you do know who the original artist is, please let me know in the comments so I can give them credit. So I used this idea to create the title page. I will also be making the big yellow circle in a bit, and then I also added some pink flowers because I love pink. It's my favorite color, so that also seemed perfect for my birthday month. And then those are the elements that I use throughout this month: black cats, the color yellow, and little pink flowers. To create the yellow circle, I already penciled everything in before I started going over it with pen and before I started filming. So I traced a circle with a really big coffee cup, and now I'm just going over these pencil lines with a yellow brush pen. This was one of the most time-consuming things about this setup, because the yellow brush pen, if it touches the black pen, it smudges it. I don't know why that is, because the black pen is ink based, and although my knowledge on the subject is limited, that shouldn't smudge when a water-based pen goes over it. But some of my brush pens smudges when they go in contact with the black, and this pen is one of those. So I was really trying to be careful around the black parts so it wouldn't smudge. I still got a little bit of smudging and some white spots where I just didn't cover everything. But here is the yellow circle, and then I'm just adding a mini calendar below that, and then my title page is finished. Well, it's not, because I am also adding the pink flowers like I said earlier. They are really simple. I'm just using this lilac brush pen to make these sort of 4 petal shapes, and then I'm going in with a slightly darker pink to add the center of the flowers. And then next to my cover page is my calendar page, where I'm using a sort of a list layout, because that's the layout I like the best to write my events and appointments and plans on. And then underneath that, I'm drawing another silhouette of a cat, this time of a walking cat. And then I've seen a lot of bullet journalers here on YouTube do this sort of pattern in a box thing that I wanted to try and do. So I'm drawing a box here at the bottom, and then once I have colored in the cats, I'm adding more pink flowers inside the box to make it look like a pattern that is being contained in the box. And I really like how that turned out. Ever since I started bullet journaling, my titles have been a mixture of English and Danish, sort of depending on what I was in the mood for when I made that particular title. But this month I decided to do all of my titles in Danish because everything I write in my bullet journal throughout the month I write in Danish, so it seems kind of weird that the titles shouldn't be in Danish. So right now at the top I have written fokus, which means focus, and underneath that I'm writing højdepunkter, which means highlights. So this page is for writing down what I want my focus to be for this month, kind of like setting goals for the month. What do I want to focus on working on this month? And then the highlights are any remarkable things that happens throughout the month that I want to remember. And then at the top I'm doing the trick with the box and the pattern inside of it again because I liked how well it turned out on the previous page. And for the lettering, as you can see, I'm only doing one cattail letter, and then I'm using a sort of bubble lettering for the other letters, so they still match the font, the cattail font, but I don't have to draw a cat for every letter, and also not all the letters are shaped in a way that it would be easy for a cattail to be shaped in, so that's why I decided to do it this way. Also at the bottom of the page there is a bit of blank space that you can't see right now, and originally I just meant to keep it blank, but then I thought this page needed some yellow to tie it in more with the cover page and with the theme for this month. So I added these yellow circles, and I really did not like how it turned out. I cut it out of this video not because I didn't like it, but because it was out of frame anyway. But you'll see in a bit when I go work on the other page. Now you can see the circles at the bottom in a bit, and when I show you the finished result you can also see that I end up just gluing a yellow piece of paper on top of them. So now you can see the circles, and also now you can see me working on these two cats where their tails are coming together to form a heart. And this page is my currently page where I have 3 sections, one for writing down the books I'm reading, one for the music I'm listening to, and one for the TV shows and movies I'm watching. And this is actually a way for me to journal because I find that I often have a lot of memories connected to what I'm listening to and reading and watching. So when I look back at what I was, for example, what albums I was listening to this month, I will also be able to remember what I was doing while listening to them, what I was thinking and feeling and going through. So it's an easy way for me to journal and also keep track of what I am reading and listening to and watching. And also for this page I decided to use a different font, and I did this typewriter font, and I really liked how that looks as well. The next page is all of my trackers. So on the top of the left page is my expense tracker. Underneath that are my habit trackers, and then on the right page I have a step tracker. And all of these trackers are really simple. The expense tracker is just a table where I can track what I'm buying and how much it cost. And my habit trackers are just these mini calendars where I can track each individual habit. This was the habit tracker was the weirdest one for me to do in Danish the title of that, because for me the word vaner just sounds very negative. Maybe that's just me. If you're Danish, let me know in the comments if you feel the same way. But when I hear vaner, which means habits, when I hear that in Danish, I automatically am thinking about bad habits, and that's not why I have a habit tracker. I have a habit tracker to track my good habits and to keep myself accountable for doing the good habits that I want to improve on and to make habits. But that's just not the connotation I immediately think of when I hear the word vaner. So that was actually a bit weird for me to do that title in Danish, but also I'm trying to turn it around in my head because I have been working a lot with my habits lately and been trying to focus on what habits I'm choosing to work on and how to improve them and stuff like that. So a little weird, but also getting better. It's becoming more of a neutral term for me and not just a negative term. But yeah, they're just really simple trackers, and then I'm doing these pink flowers again to add a sort of divider between the two trackers. And then, like I said, on the right page is my step tracker, and it wasn't until way after I did this entire setup I realized that the title One Step at a Time is not in Danish. I don't know why that didn't occur to me while I was making it. I guess it was just a habit. So next month I'll have to think of a Danish title for my step tracker. But the reason I'm doing a step tracker is because I work from home and the distance between my table, my desk and my bathroom isn't that big. So if I don't focus on getting my steps in, I don't get them in. So by making a step tracker where I actually have to write down every day how many steps I take, again, it keeps me accountable and it keeps me on top of actually doing it. And then the next page is my notes page, which works the same way as a brain dump page. It's just a place to write down any thought or idea or quote or anything I think of throughout the month that I feel like writing down. I can write down here. And it's a very simple page because I just want to have room to write down as many things as possible. So I'm just writing down noter or notes, and then again doing a box with a little flower pattern inside of it. But even though it's really simple, I actually think this turned out to be one of my favorite spreads this month. Maybe because of how simple it is, I just think it turned out really well. The last spread for this monthly setup is the weekly spread, where I'm using the same layout that I am always using for my weekly spreads, which is my personal take on the rolling weekly, where I have room for a meal planner. And I'm just always using this setup because I find that it works really well for me, and you know, if it ain't broke. And it also saves me a lot of time every week that I don't have to think of new interesting ways to do a layout. I'm just doing it this way because, like I said, it just works really well for me. So the way that it works is that on the left page I have all the days of the week where I can write down any events or plans that I have on specific days. I also have room for a mini calendar so I can have an overview of what the month looks like, and I also have room for a little illustration. Then on the right page I have a rolling to-do list, so it's just a to-do list of things I need to get done this week, but there's not a specific time during the week that I have to do the things. So it's just a sort of master to-do list of this week. And then at the bottom of the right page is where I have room for a meal planner. And the illustration I'm making for this weekly, as you can see, is sort of an abstract heart cat. This was also something I saw on Pinterest once. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it again, but I had it on some of my shorts because I embroidered this design on a pair of shorts of mine. So I just, for my bullet journal, I copied it off of my shorts because I couldn't find the original drawing that I saw. And then I am adding a quote which says, "What greater gift than the love of a cat?" which is a quote by Charles Dickens. Also, you might have noticed that I am writing to do in Danish, but that was on purpose because we just call it a to-do list in Danish as well, so it really wouldn't make sense to try and translate that. And now here is the final flip through of my April setup. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you liked it, please consider liking it and maybe even subscribing if you want to see more videos like this. I certainly hope to see you again, and in the meantime, take care. Bye!